Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Neelachala Nivasaya Anante Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Recording in progress.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of our Bhakti Vaibhava study of 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We are starting from verse number 35 onward. These are the prayers by demigods. Garbhastuti to the Krishna who is still in the womb of Mother Devaki, but it's still these exalted personalities, the demigods, they are aware of the Supreme Lord's appearance, therefore they came there to offer prayers. Pankha ab band karna. Sattvam na chedadhato idam nijam bhaveta Vijnanam ajnana bhidaha pamarjanam Guna prakashai amoyete bhavan Prakashate yasya chayena va gunaha. O Lord, the cause of all causes, Dhatar. Dhatar means generally maintainer. Dhata means Vidhata. Vidhata also means the one who is in charge of everything, cause of all causes. So, O Lord, cause of all causes, Dhata. If your transcendental body, Idam Nijam, it means they are pointing towards the womb of Devaki. Idam, this one. Your transcendental body, Idam Nijam, were not beyond the modes of material nature, na cheda sattvam bhaveta. If this would not have been Vishuddha Sattva, one could not understand the difference between the matter and transcendence. Agyana bhida vijnanam apamarjanam. So how can we differentiate between the bodies which are under the modes of three modes of material nature and the bodies which are transcendental, beyond three modes of material nature? If you don't appear, then how can we differentiate? Only by your presence can one understand the transcendental nature of your Lordship, who are the controller of material nature. Guna prakashai anumiyate bhavan. Bhava means you. Guna means controller of the material world. Material nature is guna. Prakashai is transcendental. Amuyate. Your transcendental nature is very difficult to understand unless one is influenced by the presence of your transcendental form. Yasya cha yenava guna prakashyate. So Srila Prabhupada is differentiating between the Supreme Lord's body and the material body. So it is said, Traigunya Vishya Veda Niskudano Gunu Bhava Arjuna. So in Bhagavad Gita, even second chapter, which is this summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna, you have to come beyond three modes of material nature, because if you want to know me, then you have to come above three modes of material nature. There's no other way. Unless one is situated in transcendence, means beyond three modes of material nature, one cannot understand the transcendental nature of the Lord. As stated in Srimad Bhagvatam, Tathapi te deva padam bhuja divya prasad leha leshanugrihita eva hi janati tattvam bhagavat mahimanam chanya ekopi chiran vichantya. चिरंत विचन्य, ये देखो ड्राइवर क्या कह रहा है, कहाँ गया ही लगा। अब अभी मेरा क्लास चल रहा है, क्या कह रहे हो? हाँ जी, अभी अभी रुको, बाद में देखते हैं। Okay, this is the means the definition given. Only by the mercy of the personality of God, that means divya prasad leha anugraha, lesh anugraha, only little bit of the mercy, one can understand him. Those who are in mode of material nature, although speculating for thousands of years, which means chiran means thousands of years. Within one, they may be speculating for many thousands of years, they will not understand. This is Brahma is saying in Brahma Astuti in 14th chapter. So, those who are in the mode of material nature, although speculating for 1,000 years, the Lord has innumerable form, Ramadi Murtishu, Nyatam Tishtanta, Nyamena Tishtan, and unless these forms, such as Ramachandra, Narsingadev, Krishna, Balaram, and Balaram were transcendental, how could they be worshipped by the devotees since time immemorial? This Prabhupada is giving a simple logic. If they were not transcendental, why the people are worshipping after millions of years? Treta Yuga Ramchandra appears. Millions of years, thousands. Still people are worshipping. If they are not transcendental, why there people are worshipping them? Why they are worshipping? Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschachmi tattvata. Devotees who awaken their transcendental nature, which means when they go beyond three modes of material nature by avibhicharena bhakti yogena sagunan samatite tan brahma bhuya kalpate. In the presence of the Lord, and who follow the rules and regulation of devotional service can understand Lord Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, and other incarnations who are not of this material world, but who come from the spiritual world for the benefit of people in general. Their avatar means appearing from a spiritual world. If one does not take to this process, means process of bhakti, one imagine or manufacture some form of God, those who are following the path of gyana, according to material qualities, because they are under the three modes of material nature, and can never awaken a real understanding of the Supreme Personality because he is beyond three modes. The word bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschachmi tattvata signify that unless one worship the Lord according to the regular devotional principle, one cannot awaken the transcendental nature, which means is a Brahma Bhuta sthiti, his transcendental nature. It means he will not realize his constitutional position. Swarup, deity worship. Now Prabhupada is coming, deity worship. Even in the absence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, awaken the transcendental nature of the devotee, who thus become increasingly attached to the Lord's lotus feet. What Srila Prabhupada is writing, even a neophyte devotee who wants to worship the Archa Vigraha, he can also increasingly attach to the lotus feet of Lord. The appearance of Krishna is the answer to all imaginative incognography of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone imagines the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his own mode of nature. In Brahma Santa, it is said that the Lord is oldest person. Therefore, a section of religions imagine that God must have been very old. And therefore, they depict a form of Lord like an old man. But in the same Brahma Santa, that is contradicted. Although he is the oldest of all living entity, he has his eternal form as a fresh youth. The exact word used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Vigyan, Agyan Bhidaha, Marjanam, Apamarjanam. Vigyan means transcendental knowledge. Krishna in Brahma Santa. So Brahma Santa is Vigyan. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Gyaan Vigyan Sahitam Yagyatva Moksha Se Shubhat. I am giving you this knowledge which is along with realization. By knowing that, you will be free from all material bondage. In our that Brahma has by the right through that hole and then he saw the Ananta Sesh, Golok Dham, he saw Krishna there sitting there, and then he offered the prayer to Krishna. So this is he directly requested Krishna to appear. So there's a description which is also given to you in Garga Santa's verses. So Brahma has this realization. Brahma Santa. Only we have couple chapters. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recovered from Tiruvata temple, which is the Trivantapuram, the temple which is in Trivantapuram. It is just a replica of that, but it's like a mirror image. On the lotus feet are on the one side, that side head in that temple. But that is the same temple where Mahaprabhu got this Brahma Santa, which is Vijnanam. And in that way, he presented the form and pastime of Krishna and transcendental abode. Agyana Bhida means that which can match all kinds of speculation. In ignorance, people are imagining the form of Lord. Sometimes he has no form, sometimes he has form, according to their different imagination. But the presentation of Krishna and the Brahma Santa is a Vijnana. Scientific experience knowledge given by Lord Brahma and accepted by Lord Chaitanya. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, I am here to teach you the science of soul and science of love of God. So Krishna conscious movement is a Vijnana. It is teaching the science of soul and science of love of God. There's really something which is different than anything else. This is what everywhere in preaching I used to say, that there's a difference between the normal religious people, and that is unbodily concept, because they are born in that religion and they follow that religion. But Krishna consciousness is not a religion based on body. It is transcendental religion based on the science of soul. This is the difference between the rest of the religions and Krishna consciousness movement. We are transcendental. We are transcendental actually. This is most important because this is based on science of soul and science of love of God. I think in 2017 we have a reunion of our medical graduates after 40 years. So everybody wrote something that he has become professor, he is vice chancellor, he is surgeon, he is something. When I wrote that I am now learning and teaching the science of soul and science of love of God. So they put those lines in their magazine, and then they asked what actually it is, doctor. I said, this is something which is not in the medical books. It is beyond that, the science of soul and science of love of God. This is what Prabhupada said. I am preaching the science of soul, therefore, I am not saying that your religion and my religion, my is better than you know. That is the bodily concept. I am speaking of soul, science of soul, and that is same for all. So this is something Prabhupada is speaking, it is a Vijnana. It is a realized knowledge. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that there is no doubt about it. Sri Krishna's form, Sri Krishna's flute, Sri Krishna's color of a specific Krishna's color. Everything is reality. Here it is said that this Vijnanam is always defeating all kinds of speculative knowledge. That means adhyan vidya. Therefore, the demigod prayed, without your appearing as a Krishna, as you are neither adhyan vidya, nuisance of speculative knowledge, nor Vijnanam would be realized. So one has to be destroyed and one has to be realized. They realized by devotees, that is Paritrana Sadhunam, and Vinashayata Dushkirtan, the speculator has to be destroyed. That is also the mission of Krishna. Agyana Vidya Pamarjanam. Agyana Vidya Pamarjanam, by your appearance, the speculative knowledge of ignorance will be vanquished, and the real experience, knowledge of authorities like Lord Brahma will be established. Men influenced by three modes of material nature imagine their own God according to the modes of material nature. It is in, where is this in Bhagavad Gita? Somebody can tell me, where is this in Bhagavad Gita? In I am reading this, see. The men influenced by three modes of material nature imagine their own gods according to the modes of material nature. In this way, God is present in various ways, but your appearance will establish that the real form of God, what the real form of God is. So, where is this in Bhagavad Gita that people have different gods and something like that? What is the beginning of the 17th chapter? What is the beginning of the 17th chapter? Now, Anya Devata is a demigod worship. The 17th chapter, people who don't follow scripture but they have firm faith, and their faith according to the three modes, and they have their different worship. Yeah, they shastra vidim utsarja yajante kama karata. Yeah, this section is saying, and then what is their faith? They are asking, Arjuna is asking and say, the faith is of three type mode of material nature. And according to that, they worship, and therefore there are different sects, because there are different modes. And you mix the modes, and then that many sects you will have. And they all are destroyed only when Supreme Lord appears and one accepts this. So highest blunder committed by impersonalist is to think that when the incarnation of Lord comes, he accepts the form of matter in the mode of goodness. This is Mayavad. Actually, the form of Krishna or Narayan is transcendental to any material idea. Even the greatest impersonalist, Shankaracharya, has admitted Narayana Paro Avyaktat. The material creation is caused by the Avyakta, the impersonal manifestation of matter, are the non-phenomenal, total desirable of matter, and Krishna is transcendent to that material conception. This is expressed in Srimad Bhagvatam as Shuddha Sattva, or transcendental. The Lord does not belong to the material mode of goodness, for he is above the position of material goodness. He belongs to transcendental, eternal status of bliss and knowledge. Dear Lord, the demigod prayed, when you appear in your different incarnation, you take different names and form according to different situation. Lord Krishna is your name because you are all attractive. You are called Shyama Sundar because of your transcendental beauty. Shyama means blackish. Yet, they say that you are the most beautiful than thousand of Cupid. Kandra Pakoti Kamaniya. Although you appear in a color which is compared to that of blackish cloud, you are the transcendental absolute, and therefore your beauty is many, many times more attractive than the delicate body of Cupid. Sometimes you are called Giridhari because you lifted the hill known as Govardhan. You are sometimes called Nandan or Vasudev or Devaki Nandan because you appear as the son of Maharaj Nanda or Devaki or Vasudev. Impersonalists think that your name, many names or forms are according to a particular type of work and quality because they accept you from the position of material observer. Our dear Lord, the way of understanding is not to study your absolute nature from the activities of mental speculation. One must engage himself in devotional service. Then one can understand your absolute nature and your transcendental form, name, and quality. Actually, a person who has a little taste for the service that is important of your Lord's feet can understand your transcendental nature or form or quality. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaveta. This is the mood in this paragraph. Others may go on speculating for millions of years, yet it is not possible for them to understand even a single part of your transcendental or actual position. In other words, Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna cannot be understood by non-devotees because there is a curtain of Yoga Maya which covers Krishna's actual features. Naham prakashati sarvasya yoga maya samavrta. So, Lord says, I am not exposed to anyone and everyone. When Krishna came, he was actually present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and everyone saw him, but not everyone could understand that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Still, everyone who died in his presence attained complete liberation from material bondage and was transferred to the spiritual world. Because foolish Muda do not awaken their spiritual nature, which means go beyond three modes of material nature. They do not understand Krishna or Ram, avajananti mam muda manusham tanamash. Even big academic scholars, not considering the endeavor of Acharya, who have commented devotional service, recommended devotional service in many elaborate commentaries and notes, think that Krishna is fictitious. This is due to the lack of transcendental knowledge and a failure to awaken the Krishna consciousness. One should have the common sense to ask why, if Krishna or Ram were fictitious, stalwart scholars like Sridhar Swami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Veer Raghavacharya, Vijaya Dhwaja, Vallabh Acharya, and many other recognized Acharya would have spent so much time to write about Krishna in notes and commentaries on Srimad Bhagvatam. Chakravarti Pad says, some people conclude that my form is material, sattva guna. This verse is spoken to answer this challenge. Idam means this. Demigod point at the womb of Devaki with an index finger and says, O Lord, if this form of yours was material sattva and not nij sattva or shuddha sattva beyond material contamination, then there would be an absence, marjanam appa, of devotees realizing your spiritual form. Absence of devotees. Vijnanam, transcendental knowledge. The realization of a devotee is the proof of the Lord's spiritual form. What do they realize? By realizing that your body is completely spiritual. Material bondage, adhyan, gets extinguished Buddha. One should have no doubt about the reality of their realization. There is also more evidence about the Lord's spiritual form. By the strong influence of your qualities, the manifestation of your mercy in the form of prema, guna prakashai, and your grace appearing in our mind, we must conclude that your body is not material. Prakasha gunaha. Reveal your qualities. Those qualities manifest from a person possessing a spiritual nature, not from matter. It is you who have those qualities. There must be some person to manifest those qualities, for matter alone cannot do that. Yena va, by which either it is the agency of Shuddha Sattva that these qualities must manifest, nor by the agency of matter. Another meaning is this: if your Shuddha Sattva body were never to manifest, then the realization which destroy ignorance would not take place. If your body were material, then you could be inferred by the use of material intelligence, guna prakashi. He who possesses matter and by whose intelligence matter manifests would be called the Lord. But that's wrong. It should not be like that. Divine factor of effort, sadhan. Jiva Goswami writes, by this explanation, it is understood that Vasudeva and Devaki had bodies of Shuddha Sattva. Only Shuddha Sattva body can manifest Shuddha Sattva Lord. So, by this explanation, it is understood that Vasudeva and Devaki had bodies of Shuddha Sattva. Even his name is self-manifesting. And Laghu Vaishnava Toshni writes, O Lord, who takes various forms dhata, your body is inferred by the many functions of intelligence and senses. The action of intelligence related to you are seen in their relationship to you. For instance, Simel has a particular relationship with you. The supreme, this witness of all, and the intelligence has a similar relation with you, since you as the witness are revealed even on material objects. What is revealed in a material things, such as part, is an aspect of supreme controller. You are the supreme controller. By your power, the jiva also become witness. According to Sridhar Swami, verse number 32, 33 and 34 showed that only the devotee attain liberation. However, 5 verses describe this 32 to 36. Why do we need bhakti? The perfection on gyaan is reached by the absence of guna. But without your Shuddha Sattva body, no gyaan. Everything is imaginary only. Sridhar Swami says that if one serves the Lord's Shuddha Sattva form, one will directly realize the Lord by his mercy. The proof is Shreya Shritam Bhakti Mudisya Ye Vibhu. Brahma is praying. Klishanti Yeke Valabodha Labdya Tesham Asau Kalesha Eva Sishyate Nanyad Yatha Stolatava Tushavaghata Nighatinam. While trying to get grants from the rice, when the rice are already taking and you still do the business, then it is only the husk you will get. So knowledge gives only husk, not the real essence. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path and engage in cultivation of spiritual knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve the desired result. As a person who beats on an empty husk of the wheat cannot get grants, only who simply speculate cannot achieve this self-realization. This only gain is trouble. His only gain is trouble. Gita says, Satvat Sanjayate Jnanam. It means knowledge arises from mode of goodness. Thus, Jnana manifests through material good sattva. Then why accept Shuddha Sattva? The answer is given, O possessor of all Shaktis, Data, cause of all causes. If this form that we experience is not spiritual, Vijnanam, but material, then it is only manifestation of Gyaan. Even though it is purified by Vikalpa, realization, Nirvikalpa Gaya Samadhi, which means a special Samadhi, realization, since you are then inferred through the manifestation of material guna, is not realized, because it is a Sattva guna only. Or if your spiritual form does not appear on earth, then you will only be inferred through function of the senses, etc. How? After one realizes Brahma, Vijnanam, that realization is then destroyed. Marjanam up. Without acceptation of form of Lord, Brahma realization is cancelled. Atma ramastam chamunyo nirgaranta api urkarame kurvanti ahitukam bhaktim ittam bhuta gunahari. Some sages who are Atmaram, beyond the scripture, false ego and rules, also practice unmotivated devotional service, pure bhakti. To the master of the pure bhakti, Krishna, since he possesses qualities attractive to even them. The method of inference is described sattva guna. Sattva guna, related to the Lord, Yasya, reveals itself as its controller, Vishnu, just as dawn indicate approach of the sun. By the Lord, Yin, Sattva Guna is manifested just as smoke is manifested by fire. Because your body is self-manifested, made of the highest bliss by its appearance, realization of the Brahm disappears. Since you have a Shakti, Sattva, however, that form can be inferred just as the sun can be inferred from dawn. Manansi asan prasannani sadhunam asura dhruvam. When the Lord was about to appear, the saints who had always been disturbed by demons like Kansa and his men felt peace within core of their heart. Sattvadyona. May the original person purer than the pure person in whom the gunas of the Prakriti such as sadhu do not exist be pleased. Since you are endowed with the Haladini, Samvit and Sandhani Shaktis aimed at our Shaktis and are devoid of material gunas, you have no mixture of happiness or distress. Or the verse explain the cause of Lord's appearance. Without the manifestation of Vishuddha Sattva, one cannot realize your greatness. If you are Vishuddha Sattva, form which is your own Nijam, since it is directly realized by Swam Bhagavan, is not manifest special knowledge of your power, which destroy ignorance, will not arise. Marjanam apa. Since I have appeared as Swam Bhagavan, what is the question of knowledge? You are presently inferred only by the manifestation of effulgence in Devaki, Guna. But such manifestations are not my unique nature. They are only a manifestation of my expansion. By these manifestations, we infer your qualities. We have not experienced with a Sankrashana appearance. When Balaram appeared, there was nothing like that. Now we are feeling different. This is what demigods are saying. O Lord who takes various forms. I think this Sanatana Goswami is saying same thing almost. Without your avatar, there could not be knowledge of you as Swam Bhagavan. Knowledge of bhakti and knowledge of the greatness of devotee, Nij Vijnanam. So without your appearance, this is not possible. Who is Swam Bhagavan? What is bhakti? What is great devotee? That knowledge destroy other knowledge, which is ignorance, agyan bida. How do you know that I have appeared as an avatar? You can be inferred by qualities like Devaki's effulgence or my manifestation of qualities in the universe. Tato garbha guna samyak prachachara dvija Vishnu anse bhuvam yate ratvascha bhavam shubha. The planet wandered freely in the sky, season manifested all beauty when the expansion of Vishnu appeared on earth, Vishnu Purana. But that happens naturally. No, belong to you. Yes, yeah. The qualities manifest. By you, the Lord, these qualities manifest. Taking Sattvam to mean Sato Guna, it actually means the best or Satvikam. Things related to you. It is situated in you, Nijam. Without these things, there could be no knowledge of you. Without that knowledge, what would happen? you could only be inferred by qualities but not actually known. Or if you were not the form of attaining the highest goal, if you did not appear as an avatar, could there be a knowledge, nijidam vijnanam, concerning the greatness of bhakti or the knowledge of nijamam vijnanam? There could be no realization because of the lack of distinguishing knowledge, adhyan vidya. So there's a lengthy purport on this, and there's much more written about this subject matter in C.C. Madhya Leela 7, 144, 145, Srimad Bhagvatam 47, 31, Srimad Bhagavatam 2, 235, 332, 33, verse number 23. न नाम रूपे गुण जन्म कर्म भी निरूप्य त्वयि तव तस्य साक्षिण मनोवचोभ्याम अनुमेय वर्तमनो देव क्रियायाम प्रतीयन्ति यथापि. O Lord Dev, your transcendental name and form, tava naam roop gun janam karma bhi, are not ascertained na nirupayat tave by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Sakshina anumeya vartamanaha. Your name, form and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. Mano vacho bhyam kriyam pratayanti athapi he. Sri Prabhupada writes, stated in Padma Purana, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriyahi sevanu mukhe jivado swayam smridhyada. Quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. One cannot understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, qualities and pastime of Sri Krishna through one's material contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord, are the transcendental name, form, qualities and pastime of Lord revealed to him. Since the Krishna and his transcendental name, form and activities are all transcendental nature, ordinary person or those who are only slightly advanced cannot understand them. Even the big scholars who are non-devotees think that Krishna is fictitious. Yet although so-called scholars and commentators do not believe that Krishna was factually a historical person whose presence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra is recorded in the history of Mahabharata, they feel compelled to write commentaries on Bhagavad Gita and other historical records. Sevano mukhe jivado swayam eva sprude adha. Krishna's transcendental name, form, attributes and activities can be revealed only when one engages in his service in full consciousness. This confirms Krishna's own words in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvata mam chashmi tattvata tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate anantaram. So this is the meaning of this, you know all. So only by sevano mukhi, by engaging oneself in Lord's service, can one realize the name, form, qualities of Supreme Person of Godhead. Can somebody give some example for that? The Lord can only be known by rendering devotional service. And by rendering some service, not by theoretical knowledge of the shastra or tapasya or something else. Anybody has some example, story, something to say? Yes?
One thing is.
Yes, Prabhu, Ajay? What you said?
So, Prabhuji, thing is, Lord is revealed. Here the point is,
right.
His form, name, qualities are revealed. It's not that I can figure out by my own method, by my own hard work. No, it's up to Krishna revealed depending on my sincerity, my offering my devotion to him and mercy of the Vaishnavas.
Yeah, service.
So it's all the above. Basically, I have to very sincerely engage in all aspects of Krishna consciousness and hoping that Lord will reveal himself to me, something about him to me.
One story is coming in my mind.
So,
Yes, you continue.
one thing I want to share is we built a temple in Seattle. We were putting a deity of Balaji in there. And the temple was to be on the second floor. And we were to take the deity 7 foot high through the elevator. And we had to, because there was a gap between the floor and the elevator, so we had to put a steel plate to cross. The deity was 1,400 pounds, 1,400 pounds, very heavy. So we were trying to take the deity into the elevator, and because of the plate, the deity was touching the seat, the doorway. We could not take it in. And we were, oh my God, well, now what do we do? We had a lot of preparation done to get it. And you won't believe, Prabhu, the Lord became 2.5 inches short. The deity shrunk by 2.5 inches, allowing us to take the Lord in the elevator and come up to the second floor. So this was unbelievable. We were ordinary people, really ordinary people. No advanced, nothing. Ordinary people. And Lord reacted to us out of His love that we are engaged, trying to do the seva for Him.
So Lord began 2.5 inch small, short, huh?
Enlivening.
Like Tota Gopinath.
Yeah, the deity became.
Yeah.
Yes, the deity became 200 years. And this is not like 100 years ago, 500. This happened last year, Prabhuji. Last year.
So I'm saying Tota Gopinath become, he sat down because he could not reach to put the garland. Yeah, so Lord can reciprocate. But the story coming in my mind was the great scholar of the time who established the Banaras Hindu University, Madan Mohan Malve. He came to Bhaktisiddhanta to ask some question, and Bhaktisiddhanta said, "Oh, all right, now I am busy. You can help to clean some parts in the kitchen, then we can discuss." So that great scholar was asked to go and wash the part in the kitchen. What was a deity kitchen, definitely. So when he was washing something, then he came and then Bhaktisiddhanta said, "So what is your question?" He said, "All questions are answered." Simply by engaging in service to a great scholar, his whole, all inquiries are completely satisfied. So only by service, the spiritual master engaged the devotee in service. Oh, it's disappear. Oh, it's less network here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now 1 more hour I have, and नेट है किसी के पास? नहीं। आपका है? कैसे आएगा ये?
आपको वाईफाई ऑन करना पड़ेगा।
इधर आ रहा है, देखो आपका है इसमें कोई?
गोलोक लास्ट में।
हाँ,
गोलोक श्याम सुंदर।
मेरा वाला पूरा होता लगता है। गोलोक को हमें क्या डालना पड़ेगा?
श्याम सुंदर। ज़ूम का हटाना पड़ेगा।
इसको हटाने के लिए
फिर वाईफाई के इधर कर दीजिए, फिर फोल्डर।
कैसे करते हैं ये? ओके,
श्याम सुंदर।
क्या लिखें?
श्याम सुंदर, स्मॉल में।
SHYAMSUNDER। DR में कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया होगा। हाँ, कम करना पड़ेगा ना। इसमें एक इधर रखना, फिर पास पड़ा है। 937 मेरा बंद क्यों हो गया? 937 9, 3, 7, 4.
It is amazing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What are you discussing? What are you discussing, Prabhu?
No, we were just talking about the deity that I mentioned that happened.
Oh, did he become short? Okay.
Became smaller just to accommodate in the elevator.
Recording in progress.
So thank.
When you were telling that story, your voice was cutting out. We didn't hear the story, I think.
I told this story. I told this story that one very great scholar who established the Hindu Maha University in Banaras came to see Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and wanted to ask some question. And Bhakti Siddhanta said, okay, right now I don't know. I'm busy. You can just help washing some part in the kitchen and then we'll talk. So when he was doing that service, all his questions are automatically answered. And then he came to Bhakti Siddhanta, he said, I understood everything. So the spiritual master is to engage the devotee in service, then most of his doubts are automatically destroyed. So Lord reveals to those who render service. Otherwise that scholar said, how can I wash the part? So he will never understand. So simply he washed the part and he understood the whole philosophy in a moment. So I'm somehow, there's no Wi-Fi, I'm using my phone, so it was disappearing. Some other friend has offered his Wi-Fi, so let us continue more further. O Lord, the demigods say the impersonalists who are non-devotees cannot understand that your name is indicated, identical with your form. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between him, his name and himself. In the material world, there is a difference between the form and name. The mango fruit is different from the name of mango. One cannot taste the mango fruit simply by chanting, mango, mango, mango. But the devotee who knows that there is no difference between the name and the form of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, full Maha Mantra, and realize that he is always in the Krishna's company. Are we realizing when chanting Hare Krishna that we are in Krishna's company? Are we realizing when we are chanting that we are in Krishna's company?
Not always.
Not always. But at least when we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are thinking that we have to at least chant this because we are asked by the spiritual master to do that. So we remember at least some devotee that who inspired us to chant. And to remembering the devotee or the responsibility to chant is good enough that we are in company of the Lord. So this is, if I call, say mango, mango, because mango is not a conscious being that he can know that I'm calling. So therefore there's a difference between the mango name and mango article. But Krishna is all conscious. When we say Krishna, then he's just dancing on the tongue. The Jibha Yashomati, the tongue becomes Yashomati, Mother Yashomati, and Krishna Balaram are dancing on the tongue when we chant Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this boons to Mother Sachi that when I appear, you are like Yashoda, now you are Sachi. When I appear in a deity form, you become the marble or the metal. But when somebody chant, then the tongue become mother. You become my mother and I dance there. So that is the Nam Nami Abhinna. For persons who are not very advanced in absolute knowledge of the Supreme Lord, Krishna exhibits transcendental pastime. They can simply think of the pastime of Lord and get the full benefit. Since there is no difference between the form of the Lord, there is no difference between the transcendental pastime and the form of the Lord also. Transcendental pastime means Bhagavad Gita, Bhagvatam. Bhagavatam is transcendental pastime of Lord, which is non-different than Lord himself. For those who are less intelligent, like women, laborers, and mercantile class, the great sage Vyasadeva wrote Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, Krishna is present in his different activities. Mahabharata is a history, and simply by studying and hearing and memorizing the transcendental activities of Krishna, the less intelligent can also gradually rise to the stand of pure devotee. The pure devotee who are always absorbed in the thought of the transcendental lotus feet of Krishna and who are always engaged in devotional service and full Krishna consciousness are never to be considered to be in material world. Srila Rupa Goswami has explained that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness by body, mind and activities are to be considered liberated even within this body. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord have already transcended the material position. Brahma bhuta prasannatmana sochati na kankshati. That is here. And Srila Rupa Goswami says, Akhileshu avasthasu mansa ye yasya mansa karmana vacha. In this world, with mind, words and body, one is engaged in service in all circumstances. Jivan Mukh, he is already liberated. The devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him, which means deity worship. Those who are not, so Krishna appears in order to give chance to both the devotees and non-devotees for realization of the ultimate goal of life. For devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him in the deity form. Those who are not on that platform yet the chance to become acquainted with the activities, which means hear Krishna Katha, and thus become elevated to the same position. So Brahma Santa says, Premanjan Charita Bhakti Vileshanena. Although Krishna's transcendental form is presented as black, devotees who are in love with the Supreme Person of Godhead appreciate Lord as Shyama Sundar, having a very beautiful blackish form. The Lord's form is so beautiful that Brahma Santa also says, Venum Kanavantamaravindalayaksham Sambrattaha Sambravastasansas Asitta Ambuda Sundra Angam Kandrapakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobhang Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord is also known as Giridhari or Girivardhari, because Krishna, for the sake of his devotees, lifted Govardhan hill. The devotees appreciate the Lord's inconceivable strength, but non-devotees, in spite of directly perceiving the Lord's inconceivable strength and power, regards the Lord's activities as fictitious. This is the difference between the devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotees cannot give any nomenclature for the Supreme Person of Godhead. Yet the Lord is known as Shyama Sundar and Giridhari. Like child when he is born, and when he is small baby, he can only say something, father or somebody, yeah, something like that. But when he's grown up, then he can tell the full name of father. So those who are still non-devotees, they can chant something like, Om, or something where they don't know the real name of the Lord, which is something like, it's like a baby. So for them to come higher, still they need the association of devotee. He's also known as Devaki Nandan, Yashoda Nandan. He's known as Gopal because he was enjoying and maintaining the cows and calves. Therefore, although he has no mundane name, he is addressed by devotees as Devaki Nandan, Yashoda Nandan, Gopal, Shyam Sundar. These are all transcendental names that only devotees can appreciate and non-devotees cannot. The history of Krishna, the person, has been openly seen by everyone, yet only those who are in love with Supreme Person of Godhead can appreciate his history, whereas non-devotees who have not developed their loving qualities think that the activities, form, and attributes of Supreme Personal Godhead are fictitious. Therefore, this verse explained, Nanama Rupa Guna Janama Karam Vinirupayate Tavatasya Sakshina. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given this example that person suffering from jaundice cannot taste the sweetness of the sugar candy, although everyone knows that sugar candy is sweet. Similarly, because of the material disease, non-devotees cannot understand that the transcendental name, form, attributes, and activities of the Supreme Personal Godhead, although they actually see the Lord's activities either through authority or through history. Authority means some acharya, and history means scripture. The Puranas are old, authentic histories, but non-devotees cannot understand them, especially Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the sense of all Vedic literature. Non-devotees cannot understand even the preliminary study of transcendental knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. They simply speculate and present commentaries with absurd distortions. In conclusion, unless one elevates himself to transcendental platform by practicing bhakti yoga to the Brahma-bhuta stage, one cannot understand the Supreme Person of Godhead or his name, form, attributes, or activities. That is for para bhakti. Because after mukti, after Brahma stage, one can go to the para bhakti or a higher devotional service, in which they all nam form revealed to him. But if by chance means by association of great devotee. By chance means by the association of a devotee. One can actually understand the Lord and his feature, one immediately becomes liberated person. That is said in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karam Chame Devyam. And Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore said that by affection and love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotees can express their mind to him with their words. Others, however, cannot do this, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijananti. Chakravarti Path writes, not only your form is Shuddha Sattva, but also your name. Your transcendental name and form can be realized only by devotion. There is no other way. Thus this verse is spoken. Guna, attributes, refer to Krishna's beautiful form and merciful glances. Karam, pastime, refer to lifting Govardhan hill, artistically standing in threefold bending form, Tribhanga Lalita. Janma, appearance, refer to Krishna's role as a Nanda, son of Nanda or Vasudev. So these are the meaning of words. So Guna, attributes his beauty and his merciful glances. Karam, his activities of lifting Govardhan, and Janma, appearing as son. Even by chanting your name or meditating on your form, the casual observer Sakshina, he's just seeing, he's just observing, cannot discern or realize your sweetness, because he's just observing, nor perceive your qualities, birth and activities. If one fails to realize the sweetness of your name or form, he has not attained any realizations at all. It is like those afflicted with the jaundice, though chewing sugar candy, they cannot taste the sweetness. Similarly, those devoid of devotion cannot realize the sweetness of your name and form. Therefore, your name and form must also be Shuddha Sattva, purely spiritual. Because until unless somebody is not at a pure platform, he cannot relish those. Sakshini can also refer to the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Witness. Because your name, form are part of your spiritual nature. Those pursuing the path of speculation, anumeya vartamano, cannot know your true form. However, if one serves you by hearing and chanting your names with devotion, kiya nam, he will directly realize your spiritual name and form. This can be inferred through the mind and words of the devotee. Mano vacho bhyan means mind and words. By mind, mano, the pure qualities of the tolerance and humility are inferred. And the word vachobhi means utterance steeped in devotion, such as mano arvindaksha dadreksha tvam. This is the Virtasurja prayer. Vartamanaha, path means of the persons who has attained prema bhakti. Vartamanaha. Jiva Goswami writes, your name cannot be realized but manifested by their Shakti when one performs bhakti of hearing and chanting, which produce bhakti with realization. So your name cannot be realized but manifest by their Shakti. So name can manifest by its Shakti. When one performs bhakti, which bhakti? Hearing and chanting. What it will do? It produces realization. So who is not realizing? This is the verse. Tadasham saram hridyam batedam yadaha grahiyamanai harinama deyai savikrayita attada vikaro netre jalam gatre rahe shuvarsha. That heart which does not transform on hearing the name of the Lord, even though he shows tears in the eyes and hair standing on end, is made of iron. Asham means stone. That heart is stone hard. Naham prakash sarvasya yoga maya samavrta Mudho na bijanati loko mamajam avyayam. Being covered my own bewildered power of Maya, I am not visible to all these people. The foolish do not know me, who am without birth and unchanging in qualities. Laghu Vaishnatoshnis writes, name and form are conception and mind. Name and form are conception and mind. Why do you describe my form in this way? This verse answers, your name and form along with your qualities, birth and activities cannot be realized as they truly are. An example of name expressing qualities is Bhaktavatsal. A name expressing his form is Shyama Sundar. A name expressing his action is Govardhan Udharan. A form expressing his action is Venu Vadan or Tribhanga Lalita. The name expressing his birth is Devaki Nandan. And a form expressing his birth is Matsya. Or your name and form cannot be realized by studying of the scripture, Guna, by following proper conduct, or yam and name, karma, or by birth in a Brahman family, janma. You cannot be realized because one can only inform you about you by logic and words of the scripture and not experience your name and form through these means. The reason is given. You are the direct witness, sakshani, of the intelligent, etc. Your sweet qualities cannot be realized by the material senses and intelligence. The cause and effect are as if moving in an opposite direction. By being related to the witness, your name and form have similar qualities. However, you can be realized by the wise since they are also filled with higher bliss. Tadasham saram, same verse quoted. The heart which does not transform on hearing the name of the Lord, even though shows tears in the eyes and hair standing on the end, is made of iron. Rupam tadetad avabodha rasodayena sashvan nivrtaha tamasa sada anugrahaya adaho grahitam avatara shataika bijam yanana bhipadam bhavanad aham avirasam. Brahmaji is saying in third canto, The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has appeared in this world to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home. Natah param param yada bhavatah swarupam ananda matram avikalpam avidya vacha varcha pashyami vishvasarjam eka avishvam atma bhutendriyatmika madasta upashrito asmi. O Supreme Lord, I do not see that you are different from your form as the Brahm, which is without qualities and only bliss. O form of unrestricted light, I full of pride and thinking I can get pleasure by body, sense and mind, take shelter of you. You are one form which is spiritual but which create this universe. 3.9 same Brahma is saying, people can realize your name and form as they are in truth, pratiyanti, through the action kriyayam, like singing your name and meditating on your form. Bhaktyaham ekya grahya shardhaya atmanah priya satam bhakti hi punati mam nishta swapakapi sambhavat. Swapaka. Only by bhakti, with full faith, can the devotee obtain me, Paramatma, the object of love. Bhakti fixed in me purifies even the dark eater of his low birth. Sridhar Swami interprets this verse as follows. Your spiritual form worshipped by weak forms of remembers cannot be realized since the form beyond words and mind. Form of the name aspect of your tattva belongs to the witness of everything and are thus beyond words and mind. You can be directly seen by worship using the mind and other methods of worship which imply the external senses. It means by bhakti. Brother Vaishnava Toshni Sanatana Goswami says, your name and form along with your qualities, birth and activities cannot be realized as they truly are. An example of a name, same thing. Expressing qualities of bhakti, this is the same thing. Okay. In Adi Lila 6 introduction, Prabhupada writes something about this verse. Verse number 37. Shranavan granan sansamrayam chachintayan. 4 things. Shranavam, hearing. Granan, which means singing. Sumarayam, it means remembering. And chintayam, meditating. Namani rupani cha mangalani te, your name, your form, which are all auspicious. Kriyasho yasat charanara vindayo, and the activities of rendering service to your lotus feet. Avishta cheta na bhavaya kalpate. Avishta cheta means consciousness focused on your lotus feet. Na bhavaya kalpate, it means they will not take birth again. It is really beyond material. Even while engaged in various activities, kriyasho, devotee whose minds are completely absorbed in your lotus feet, yaha tava charanara vinda avishta cheta, and who constantly hears, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember, sharavanam granan sansamanam cha chintayan. So sansamarayam means making others to remember. Your transcendental names and form, te mangalani, namani, rupani, are always on the transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the Supreme Person of Godhead. Na bhavaya kalpate. Na bhavaya kalpate, okay? How bhakti yoga can be practiced is explained in this verse. Srila Rupa Goswami has said that anyone who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord, iha yasya harer dasya, and by his activities of his mind and his words, karmana mansa gira, may stay in any condition of life, akileshu api avastasu, and yet is no longer actually conditioned but is liberated, jivan muktsa uchyate. Even though such devotee is in the material body, he has nothing to do with the body, this body, for he is transcendently situated. Nayana paraha sarve na kutaschan bibhyate. Because the devotee is engaged in transcendental loving activities of the Lord, he is not afraid of being materially embodied. Illustrating this liberated person, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed, Mano Mama Janmani Janmani Ishware Bhavatad Bhakti Ahitukitai. All I want is your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Even if a devotee, by supreme will of the Lord, take birth in this material world, he continues devotional service. When King Bharata made a mistake and in his next birth life became a deer, his devotional service did not stop. Although some slight chastisement was given to him because of his negligence, full stop. Narad Muni says that even if one falls from the platform of devotional service, he is not lost, whereas non-devotees are lost entirely because they are not engaged in service. This is from Bhagvatam, 1st canto. Now Bhagavad Gita 9:14. Therefore recommends, Bhagavad Gita therefore recommends that one always engage at least in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Satatam kirtanayanto mam yatatanscha dridvrtaha. Oh Hare Krishna. When I read this verse, I remember two pastimes. One pastime somebody asks Srila Prabhupada, you are always saying chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Where is in Bhagavad Gita about Kirtan? Then Prabhupada quoted this verse, Satatam Kirtanayanto Mam. He said, always chant holy name. So this verse is in Bhagavad Gita. Once I was talking about teaching of Lord Chaitanya preface, and in which Prabhupada writes, Lord Chaitanya is Supreme Lord, which is quoted in Bhagvatam, in Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So I was thinking, where is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bhagavad Gita? Is Radharani in Bhagavad Gita? Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bhagavad Gita? These are my questions. So couple years back, I was in Middle East and I was meditating, and then it is revealed by Prabhupada's purpose that the verse number 13 of 9th chapter is Radharani. Mahatmanastu mam pad devim prakrtim ashrita. So devim prakriti is Radharani. Prabhupada quoted this verse is Radharani. The great souls are under the protection of internal potency. So there is a mention of Radharani. So what about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yes, the verse 14 is Satatam Kirtanayanto Mam. Always chanting holy name. Yatatasya dridvrtaha. He is taking a great vow of sannyas at the age of 24 years. And he has taken the vow of sannyas, dridvrta. And then he is traveling and he is preaching. So this verse is also the glimpse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bhagavad Gita. And the previous verse is Radharani. So Radharani and Radha Bhav, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both are in these verses of Bhagavad Gita 9:13 and 9:14. Right?
Very, very nice, Prabhuji. Very nice mention of this. Thank you for sharing.
So, one should not give up the process of devotional service, which is performed in 9 different ways. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. The most important process is hearing, Shravanam, from a guru, sadhu and shastra. Spiritual master, the saintly acharya and the Vedic literature. Sadhu, shastra, guru, vakya. Chittite kare akya. We should not hear the commentaries and explanation of non-devotees, for this is strictly forbidden by Sanatana Goswami, and everybody knows this verse Milk touched by the serpent. Serpent is a Mayavadi and milk is a Vedic literature. And poison is his commentary. We should strictly follow the injection and never try to hear from Mayavadis. Mayavadis, impersonalists, Vayodists, politicians, and so-called scholars. Strictly avoiding such inauspicious association, we simply hear from the pure devotee, Srila Rupa Goswami. Therefore, recommends Sri Guru Padashriya. One must seek shelter at the lotus feet of the pure devotee who can be one's Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that Guru is one who strictly follow the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Yare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. A juggler, a magician, or one who speaks nonsense as an academic career is not a guru. Rather, a guru is one who presents Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instruction as it is. Shravan is very important. One must hear from a Vaishnava, Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. The word kriyasu means by manual labor or by work. Is important in this verse. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna conscious movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One must approach any person and induce him to spread Krishna literature so that in the future he may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Kriyashu yas tava charanara vindayo. Such activities will always remain sweet. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna, that is samadhi. So why we distribute books? So these are few more things, Ajay, you add into the Krishna conscious mission, and then all will be completed. The books distribution is there, and other things, the couple things are more there. We can add to the list. What I say about the book distribution usually is generally in this world there are some pure devotees, some very small, and some really atheistic rascals, but majority are innocent. They can be influenced by devotees, they can be influenced by the rascals also. And the definition of rascal is one who is against the scriptural rules. Shastram vidhim utsarjaya, giving up the direction of scripture. Therefore, distributing actually books is giving opportunity to the innocent people. Giving opportunity to the innocent people not to come under the influence of rascals and follow the rules of scripture. And thereby they become devotee. So book distribution is actually making a divine population more. Otherwise, the demonic population will increase, because there are only creation of two things. Dev, Asur, Evacha. And Dev is those who follow the scripture, and Asur are those who are against the scripture. So we distribute book just to make the population more divine. And that way there will be peace. Otherwise, Asura will exploit them, because most of the people are innocent. This is my understanding why Prabhupada expressed more book distribution. To create a divine nature people on the planet for peace and prosperity. Chakravarti Pad writes, this verse points out that practice of hearing, glorifying and remembering the name and form of the Lord is the means for realization of Lord. Kriyashu, engage in devotional service. This word indicates that even in the midst of the matter relating to one's material body, the devotee is not affected by the material world, but remain deeply absorbed in the happiness of his realization of the Lord, which is Jivan Mukt, what Prabhupada wrote actually the first paragraph. Rupa Goswami is a living liberated person. That is actually this line. Jiva Goswami writes, thus the worshipper of Lord become absorbed in you while performing material action, kriyashu, and do not experience the material world. And here, if these actions are cause of realization, why do they not produce realization from the beginning? There are impression of material addiction, nam aprad, which act as obstacle. If these activities means chanting, hearing, nama, these are the words which are nama, rupa, dheya, chintayan. Why they are not producing their effect? Because of nam aprad. But this disappear by constant practice of action. Actions. That is explained in this verse. Varieties in each of the processes should be understood. The name and form are considered auspicious, mangalani, because they destroy all suffering and produce the highest bliss. Thus the process, Prabhupada says process, thus the processes are by their nature the highest goal. One who is situated in his unlimited duties by becoming absorbed in your lotus feet goes beyond samsara. Or the person who hears, chants and remembers your auspicious names and forms become absorbed in these devotional acts at your lotus feet, or become absorbed in your pastime, is beyond sansar, means birth and death. Instead of yastava, sometime yushmad, your is seen. This person is beyond sansar. Though sansar exists, he is not affected by it. It means jivan mukta. He has no desire for it. He is jivan mukta. Verse 38. Dishtaya harayasya bhavatapado bhuvo bharo apanitastava janame ishatoho drishtyankitah tava padai kashishobhanai drakshama gama dhyamacha tavanukampitam kampitam. So there's an interesting description in this verse. O Lord Hare, we are fortunate this day because the heavy burden of demon upon this earth, asyaha bhavata pado bhuvo bhara, is immediately removed, apanita, by your appearance, tava janmana ishto. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate this day, for we shall be able to see Darakshama upon this earth and in the heavenly planet, Gam Divyam Cha, the marks of lotus, conch shell, club and disc, Ankitam, that adore your lotus feet, Tava Padai Kishoshobbhane. So, the sole of the lotus feet, Lord's lotus feet are marked with these four marks: conch shell, disc, club, lotus. And also there is a flag and thunderbolt. But there are 18 almost together in both feet. When Krishna walks on the earth or in heavenly planet, and also you write in your mind when he when his lotus feet manifest in the heart of a devotee, these marks are visible. Wherever he goes, Vrindavan Dham is where he goes. Vrindavan Dham is transcendental place because of Krishna's walking on this land frequently. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were fortunate to see these marks here and there, and they never allow these marks to disappear from this earth. They protect those, they never walk on them. When Akrura went to Vrindavan to take Krishna and Balaram away for the festival arranged by Kansa, upon seeing the marks of Lord's lotus feet on the ground of Vrindavan, he fell down and began to groan. He was just rolling in the ground and groan. These marks are visible to the devotees who receive the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tava anukampitam. The demigod were jubilant, not only because the appearance of the Lord would do away with the burden of the demon, but also because they would be able to see upon the ground the transcendental marks from the sole of the Lord's feet. The gopis always thought of the Lord's lotus feet when he was walking in pasturing grounds. And as described in the previous verse, simply by thinking of Lord's lotus feet, the gopis were fully absorbed in transcendence. Avishta cheta na bhavaya kalpate. Like the gopis, one who is always absorbed in the thought of Lord is beyond the material platform and will not remain in this material world. It is our duty, therefore, always to hear, chant and think about Lord's lotus feet, as actually done by Vaishnava, who have decided to live in Vrindavan always and think of the Lord's lotus feet 24 hours a day. What do you think? Living in Vrindavan and thinking of Lord's lotus feet 24 hours a day. In this verse, the demigod hint at the Lord's purpose of relieving the earth's burden. Pada, place, means coming from the feet. As the Shruti says, Padabhyam Bhumi. It means the earth is manifesting from the lotus feet of the Virat Purusha. Therefore, it's called Padabhyam Bhumi. The earth arose from Lord's lotus feet. So, burden of the earth which arose from your feet has been removed. We have understood that Kansa, Jas and others have been killed just by your appearance. Padaika, lotus feet, means very tender feet, and Shobhanai means marked with the flag and thunderbolt. Gam means earth, and Dhyam means Swarg, heaven, because Lord goes there to get Parijat. We are fortunate to see the earth and heaven mercifully marked with your tender feet, as is explained in this purport. It is our good fortune that you have revealed the earth, which is your lotus feet. You have relieved the earth, which is your lotus feet, of suffering by your appearance, or by attaining the highest fortune of your feet. When you appear, you have relieved the earth of suffering. Actually, meaning should be, you have relieved the earth which arises from your feet. But because cause and effect are non-different, the expression padabhuvaha, the burden of the earth which is your foot, is used. Shruti says, padayam bhumihi, earth arises from your feet. Akrur later says, Agnir mukhate vahanir agnihi angrihi vahanir angrihi. Your face is the fire and your feet are earth. You have removed the suffering caused by Kansa, bhava, bhara, by your appearance in Devaki Janmana. Because of this, they say, O Lord, who removes suffering, Hare. One goal has been accomplished by benefiting the earth and the devotees like us by removing the suffering of the earth, which become respectful of the fragrance of your feet. But the main goal which gives success to all people will be accomplished by your astounding pastime, which give the earth and us the highest benefit. By good fortune, we will see earth marked with your little feet, Padaika. Lord should actually appear at the end of Dwarka. Can somebody, I'm reading, can somebody understand, try to hear. The Lord should actually appear at the end of Dwarka. I don't know what it means. With a huge body like a Devata. But by mercy, he appeared with small, soft body. The earth is ornamented with his footprints, and heaven receives his mercy by killing demons. Or the earth gets his footprint and also his mercy by his footprints or by spreading bhakti. And the heaven gets its mercy and his footprints when he takes Parijat tree, since he left footprints in the pollen which fell from Parijat. So what is this? Lord should actually appear at the end of Dwarka with a huge body like Devatas.
Dwarka or Dwaraka?
It's here written is Dwarka. I don't know, maybe mistake or something. What do you think? Huh? I don't know. To me, it appears that Lord, when he's disappearing from Dwarka, he's appearing in Jagannath Puri as a Jagannath, which is a big Devata having no feet. I read somewhere that the body of the Lord from the ocean came here as a wood, and that wood Jagannath is carved. So after Dwarka, appear at the end of Dwarka, means when Dwarka is over Krishna's pastime, then Krishna will appear as Jagannath. And Jagannath has no footprints. It's a big Devata, it says. This line, only I can interpret like that. This is coming in my mind. There's no footprint of Jagannath, but Krishna has a beautiful footprints. Verse 39. Nate abhave abhavasya isha bhavasya karanam vina vinodam batatar kaya mahe bhuvo nirodha sthiti api avidyaya krita yatastvayah abhyasvishriyatmani. I think these verses we can finish today, but tomorrow also I'm reaching 4:45, maybe landing, so we come out after 5:30. So then in the car we can finish this chapter tomorrow and start the next chapter. So this verse says, O Supreme Lord Isha, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this material world as a result of fruitive activities, abhavasya. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world has no other cause. Nate bhavasya karanam bata tarkya mahe. Then your pleasure potency, vina vinodam. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you, Atmani, have no cause for miseries like birth, death, old age. Bhavo nirodha sthiti api abhavaya ashriya. Abhya ashriya. Except when these living entities are conducted by your external energy. Yatastavya avidya krita. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking first about the living entities. Mama Yuvansa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. They are qualitatively one with Lord. We can understand that when the Supreme Lord appears or disappears as an incarnation, there's no other cause than his player potency, Vinod. We cannot force the Supreme Lord, personally guarded, to appear. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Dharmasya, when there is a need to diminish the burden created by the demon, the Supreme Personality Godhead can do it in many ways because he has multifarious energies. There's no need for him to come as an incarnation, since he is not forced to do anything like ordinary living entity. The living entities come to this material world in the spirit of enjoyment. But because they want to enjoy without Krishna, Krishna bahar mukh hai bhogo vancha kare. They suffer birth, death, old age, disease under control of illusory energy. When the Supreme Person of Godhead appears, however, no such causes are involved. His descent is an act of his player potency. We should always remember this distinction between Lord and ordinary living entities, and not uselessly argue that Lord cannot come. There are philosophers who do not believe in Lord's incarnation and who ask, why should the Supreme Lord come? But the answer is, why should he not come? Why should he be controlled by the desire of the living entity? The Lord is free to do whatever he likes. Therefore, this verse says, Vina vinodam bata tarkya mahi. It is only for his pleasure that he comes, although he does not need to come. When the living entities come to this world for material enjoyment, they are entangled by karma and karma phal, and by and karma phal by Lord's illusory energy. But if one seeks shelter at the lotus feet of Lord, one is again situated in his original liberated state. As stated here, Kirta yatastvaya abhya ashriya atmani. One who seeks shelter at the lotus feet of Lord is always fearless, abhya. Taking shelter is ashriya. Because we are dependent on Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should give up the idea that without Krishna we can enjoy freedom in this material world. This idea is the reason we have become entangled. Now it is our duty to seek shelter again at the lotus feet, Lord's lotus feet. This shelter is described as abhaya, fearless. Since Krishna is not subject to birth, death, old age or disease, and since we are part and parcel of Krishna, we also are not subject to birth, death, old age and disease. But we have become subject to these illusory problems because of our forgetfulness of Krishna and our position as his eternal servant, Jivera Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. Therefore, if we practice devotional service by always thinking of Lord, always glorifying him, and always chanting about him, as described in text 37, Sharanavaram Granan Sansa Samrayan Chintayan, will be reinstated in our original constant position and thus be saved. The demigods therefore encourage Devaki not to fear Kansa, but to think of Supreme Person of Godhead who was already within her womb. We have said that you have appeared for protecting us, but that is only a pretense. You perform your birth and activities independently by your own purpose. Though you are unborn, abhavasya, you appear in the world. Bhava means birth and death. Abhava means who never take birth and death. We cannot determine the cause because yata, creation, maintenance, destruction. Bhavo, nirodha, sthiti. Three things. Bhava, maintenance. Nirodha, annihilation. Sthiti, creation. Or bhava is creation. Nirodha is annihilation. And sthiti is maintenance. Is carried out by Maya, avidya. which take shelter of Tvai, your Ashraya Atmani. See, Krishna is called Abhaya, or instilling fearlessness, because by remembering him, the fear of demon-like Kansa disappear. Therefore, there is no necessity of Lord personally appearing to kill Kansa. But express joy. Even your devotees in this world have no birth, death. What to speak of you? Sridhar Swami explains as follows. We cannot speculate about the cause of your birth in this world, except that it is your pastime. O Lord, who does not take shelter of fear? Or, O eternally liberated Lord, what to speak of you having no birth and birth maintenance and destruction created by ignorance do not exist in the jiva dedicated to you? Or, O fearless Lord, since your only purpose is pastime, the creation, maintenance and destruction exist eternally by Maya, composed of Vidya and Avidya, which exist under your shelter, Ashraya Atmani Tvai. You not even take effort personally for the maintenance which is included in that list. We cannot infer any cause for your personal appearance except your desire for pastime, Vinod. Only one who has fear must make effort to destroy sinful persons. There is a great difference between pastime of creation and destruction of the universe, and pastime carried out by your Swarup for enjoyment. The wives of the Kaliya say, Avyakrita Viharaya. Please let us offer our obeisance unto you, whose pastime are inconceivable. Sukdev is described as Ajita Ruchira Leela Krishna Sara. His heart was attracted to sweet pastime of Krishna. Sanatana Goswami writes, this verse answers, it is only your play, because creation and destruction take place by Maya, which exists within you. It is your Shakti. Killing demon is one of its goal. Or I have appeared to relieve the earth of its burden on your request. That is what I am doing. Why speak of play? You actually appear for pastime in Gokul. Or there are great pastime of creation of the universe. How can this be called play? Creation and destruction take place by your Shakti of Maya for the Jiva, Atmani. It is real but temporary, but your form and pastime are the eternal knowledge and bliss. So we end it here. I think its time is over. So tomorrow we can finish this chapter and start the new one. Any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu. No question, no comment? All blessings. Hare Krishna.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Prabhus.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.